Tregarthen.
It'll be a fun one between Birmingham and SAFC. Prinx Tires is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Prinx Tires USL Cup, built for practical performance and the long haul. Prinx Tires delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. SAFC and Birmingham Legion when we come back.
Built to tough it out and to take it easy. Built to carry tradition and to make new ones. The 2026 Toyota Tundra. Built in Texas, driven everywhere.
Right now, qualified lessees can lease a rugged new 2026 Tundra SR5 for $449 a month for 36 months. Offer ends May 4th.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Your budget's set, but don't you fret, 'cause HEB has price cuts. Get the whole list done and find the dog something fun.
HEB has cut thousands of prices on things families need, so look for the tags and save.
When you donate or shop at Goodwill, you'll help train future nurses' aides through our local career training programs. Good job, everyone.
$10 for a large, $10 for any 3 toppings, $10 for your choice of hut crust. Like our new garlic parm hand tossed. Because there's crust, and then there's hut crust. The crust you crave, only $10. Order in the Pizza Hut app.
What do you do when you throw out your back?
Use caution when lifting heavy objects.
How do I eliminate back pain?
I'm not tracking any rain right now.
Back pain.
Got it. Calling back Shane.
Forget it.
Sorry, didn't get that.
High-quality emergency care. Find your nearest location.
The USL is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Methodist Healthcare, proudly offering 10 neighborhood ERs across San Antonio. The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Toyota Field, along with Katie Goodman and the rest of the crew. I'm Carl Schoening. Kickoff moments away. Let's check out those starting lineups. As you see the final huddle between SAFC, we check out the Birmingham Legion. As we talked about Pasher, he's right in the middle of the strikers up there. Should be a fun one.
Between Pasher, Diarbin, and Damas, they're really a hard trio to lock down there. So San Antonio's going to have a run for their money here tonight.
On the other side for SAFC, a big change in frame, but a familiar face in Richard Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez there in goal has been a great pastime there for San Antonio last season, has made a few appearances this season, but then you've got Perano and EJ up top, 2 guys who really started working really well together. Typically it's Perano Patino, but I like seeing both the combination between Perano and EJ.
SAFC chants starting to break out at Toyota Field. It is a nice evening here in San Antonio. It's starting to hit summertime, 86 degrees at kickoff. SAFC will be in the red kits and the blue kits with the gradient to white down to the blue shorts for the Birmingham Legion. Checking out the officials today. It is Atan Yaya, who will be our center ref. Our first assistant is Jared Mosher. Our second referee, Edwin Mattori, and our fourth official, Edgar Garcia. As you see, a group of sportsmanship, good photo right there. Katie, USL Cup play differs from USL Championship play because these points are not going to go towards the USL Championship standings. This is its own individual tournament, has nothing to do with USL Championship.
Correct, and sometimes it's tough too because you might put up a couple goals. Maybe it's a USL Championship side going against a USL 1 side. Those goals also don't count towards your season goals, but hey, there's nothing like feeling that ball hit the back of the net and getting some really good combination play going in. But of course, these tournaments offer us an opportunity to see how different systems of play work or different types of point systems, to be specific. For example, as we had mentioned in the Open, a win is 3 points, but with the draw, you could get 1 or 2, depending on how you do in the PKs, right? And so a lot of times U.S. Soccer will try these types of systems, or even you see Major League Soccer trying these kinds of different systems in MLS Next Pro tournaments, things like that, just to see in what ways can we really create a better, more interesting, dynamic game. And sometimes it comes down to points. Other times it comes down to types of set pieces and throw-ins. And, I know there's been some negotiations in Major League Soccer talking about instead of throw-ins, doing kick-ins, and
Ooh.
How might that change things? Yeah, so pretty interesting here when you get to have these fun in-season tournaments.
Kickoff is brought to you by Pizza Hut as we are just wrapping up the second minute. A sort of YOLO shot put on frame by Johnson. Easy enough to be collected there by Jassim Koleat. And, everything that you just said is interesting. The kick in is very much going to be a battle against the purists.
Oh, yeah.
Long send will end up being a proper throw-in for SAFC.
As a purist, I would agree with let's keep the throw-in. But, I'd like to know what other people have to say about that because, I think that the argument here is that there's not enough scoring happening in soccer. There needs to be more opportunities, and it would essentially be just a really wide set piece. But I think the throw-in really changes things. It's quick and it's dynamic. You've got some people who do front flips and make it acrobatic, and it's just part of what it's been, and hard one for me to let go of.
Yeah, that's quite the change in the sport because how often a throw-in happens to essentially turn it into a set piece is very interesting.
I mean, we've seen it in the past, too, where they've changed PKs. It used to be you dribble at the keeper as fast as you can and hope to slot it by. Now it's a one touch at the PK mark, and so I think it's saved a lot of shins and knees by changing that one. So, sometimes the changes are for the better.
That one rolls across the end line, and it'll be our first goal kick of the evening. Methodist Healthcare Injury Report, as Methodist Healthcare proudly offers 10 neighborhood ERs across San Antonio. And for the most part, a relatively clean bill of health for both teams. You see Nicky Hernandez out with a lower body injury, and Grieve is out as well with a lower body injury. So for SAFC, they seem to have everybody else ready to go, and didn't see anybody on the injury report for Birmingham Legion as they get a quick restart here as they were actually told to push up a little bit more on the kick. Free kick will be sent wide.
We are working with a little bit of a smaller roster, 22 to work with, which, yes, that's 2 teams, but that's kind of tough in practice. You don't have any subs on either team in practice, and when you start getting injuries, which is inevitable throughout the season, that can be a little bit tough. So good to see that they're full and healthy here. Also, let's talk about those jerseys. They're giving United States men's soccer, and I think it's really cool. Maybe a little bit of a hint of France, too.
Well, Jay Heaps, someone who has 4 caps with the American national team, the head coach of the Legion, also the CEO, stepping into a head coach role after being an executive for many years after being the head coach of New England Revolution in the MLS side of things.
Man who can wear many hats and do many things. And I'm sure being in the coach spot and the CEO spot makes him feel like he gets the most bang for his buck. Nice ball in there from Ward.
Yeah, that chip in easily caught, though, by Koleat, and they're going to slowly work out of the back here, feeling with a little bit of pressure from Ward. That one goes for a goal kick. Another goal kick for Richard Sanchez, who, last year, Katie, he really was the man in frame for SAFC. 11th in total saves with 68 in USL Championship. He was tied for 12th with 6 clean sheets in the league. And He led SAFC with 2,374 minutes. Somebody who's played with FC Dallas, Sporting Kansas City, the LA Galaxy in the MLS, competed for Mexico at U17, U20, and U21 levels. Won the 2021 U17 World Cup as the starting goalkeeper with Mexico. A lot of experience there, and quite the backup for Joey Petruni, who's really emerged as one of the better keepers in USL Championship this season.
Yeah, it's really hard to say backup for anyone on the San Antonio FC. It's the competition is so stiff and so close, and I think that's just what you sign up for walking on to or signing up for this team every season, is knowing that, hey, this is a team that's always going to be, for the most part, playoff contenders, and the challenge is going to be just getting your minutes in. And you know, every year San Antonio has a deep team, but this year especially is extremely deep. You know, you're asking me which keeper do I pick, and man, they are both amazing. Either guy could be starter on any squad here in the USL Championship. So not only that, just like a lot of the guys they have on the bench, you know, you have Diogo Pacheco, who's coming back from injury. He missed quite a few games. I think this might be the first or second game that he is available, but there's just so many players. And then you look at the few guys that you do have out. There's, you know, I had a chance to talk to Coach Yamosa. He said they're set to make their way back in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, and if all things go well. And so, you know, it's in a lot of seasons past, San Antonio has struggled with just keeping a healthy roster. And so, yeah, they had a couple small injuries in the beginning, but it's good to see these guys starting to come back and be available here for San Antonio.
There's Crognale, who scored the opening goal in Copa Tejas against the El Paso Locomotive, sparking this play on the switch of the pitch into the area. Strike by Pirano, save there as Kalea had to reach for the top of the crossbar in the first corner kick of the evening.
Incredible work and movement here from San Antonio, knowing to get into those wide flanks. And, of course, it's Jorge Hernandez with the delivery. And just such a close call there from Pirano, but a better save there from Caliat. Just incredible work. And you've seen him make some really big saves time and time again. I mean, he didn't even have a chance to move his body. His feet were already set, but his upper body movement really quick to respond.
Whistles will hold up this corner kick as we have a little bit of negotiating of space. And now we're clear for Jorge Hernandez to send it in. Keeps it short. Pirano taps it right back out. A try here, headed out. Pirano outside the box. Hernandez. Kolev. Pirano. Johnson has to retreat from some pressure. Hernandez resets the spacing out to Ward. Ward sends it in the area. Looking for some space. Not going to get it there as Flores Blanco had it taken away, and it sparks a counter here for the Legion. Birmingham Legion on the run. Diarbian decides to slow it down, and they'll reset.
When you look at this matchup, Birmingham Legion, they love to play out of the back, keep the ball low when possible, have struggled a bit on the aerial duel side of things when it comes to into the attacking box. And, you know, if you're San Antonio FC, they've got so much height there in the back three, and they do really well in getting up. If you're San Antonio, you know, I'm not saying kick the ball, but pick and choose your aerial duels, and you might have a really good chance here of getting the upper hand on Birmingham Legion.
Diarbian with the first corner kick of the evening for the Legion. He has a short option, and once again they're held up by some micromanaging, and then it's kept short once again. Throws off the rhythm just a little bit, but at the penalty arc, a whiff of a kick that just barely gets the edge of the ball will go nowhere near its intended target, and SAFC has a counter opportunity, and it's kept away. Manuel Johnson trying to get a foot on it, and no real opportunity after it's cut out.
It's a good hustle, but Birmingham has been really good this season in getting compact quickly. You notice there's not a ton of gaps. It's not really widespread. They're moving really well as a unit. Makes them hard to break down.
Ward wanted to make chase, but he would have been offside if he had done so, so it'll result in a goal kick.
Just going back to Birmingham, really great when they're compact. I think when it's in the run of play, struggling to open up and expand and get forward, I think has been a bit of a challenge. Has struggled as of yet in the last couple of games, really only getting their first win against Pittsburgh, a 1-0 win, the rest being ties and losses, but still able to put up some goals.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 on the season are the Legion, but they did come up with that 2-2 draw against Indy 11, so they obviously feel like there's some momentum there on a 2-goal game. SAFC on the other side is unbeaten here at home, 3-0-1.
Yeah, in that Indy game, they were the first to strike off a PK thanks to Pasher, and then Indy was able to find 2 more until final minutes. They were able to equalize.
Forrest Blanco sends it into the area and just wide from Pirano, who's going to the opposite post.
San Antonio doing a really great job of just dictating play here. I mean, a couple of really clear-cut opportunities for Pirano, doing really well and just finding space. That ball trickling across the 5. Almost good there for Pirano. It's kind of feeling like a matter of time here for San Antonio.
Yeah, a few good opportunities, just nothing towards the back of the net. Coleos will send it away. And it'll go to opposing goal Sanchez. Mitch Tainer, but Sanchez gets another crack at it. Yerofev sends it over to Crognali. And they'll keep it on the back line to try and force some movement from Birmingham Legion.
San Antonio doing a really good job, not just of the 1-2 quick touch, but the longer driven balls are really precise, clean.
Into the area. A chance for Johnson as he just missed the angle on a beautiful feed from Jorge Hernandez.
Once again, it's that really strong movement along the back line that sets the offense up. Hernandez again getting to that end line, trying to set it up there at the top of the 5. But when you look at these last few opportunities, it's really Birmingham not picking up on the fact that they're loving to go down that left flank. They've got the runner coming into the PK or the 5 mark. So you pretty much have to defend a little bit higher up the field if you're Birmingham to try to slow the roll here of San Antonio.
SAFC going with a high press here, navigating through it. The Legion will end up in a throw. McCartney handles the honors.
It's very clear, though, that San Antonio has picked up that if they can move that ball really cleanly using the width of the field, that they can create a little bit of chaos there on defense. It's really working for them there.
They've really found a switch of the pitch and a seam down the sideline, as you kind of mentioned earlier, that's really led to some early opportunities. And going back to that last chance, Jorge Hernandez really set up Johnson, and Jorge leads USL Championship in chances created with 26. The next closest player has 15, so he's almost lapping the field. And he does lap most of the field. Halfway through the 15th minute. Richard Sanchez yet to really be tested. Gonna have a long send. Toyota tailgate, trying to encourage everybody to sing along here in the low moments of the game. SAFC's had a few opportunities with shots on frame. Open up scoring. Sanchez sends it across midfield.
You've heard more than once the challenge of playing at San Antonio here at Toyota Field because of the 12th man. That is the supporter section. They've got drums, they've got all the smoke, literally.
I think we've had to calm down on the smoke a little bit, actually.
I hope so, for everyone's asthma and allergies out here in Texas.
Used to be quite the show after a goal, but I think haven't quite seen that enthusiasm. As Crocketeers, the supporters section, has really slowed down some of that smoke purchasing. And this one ends up in the stands off the foot of Ward. McCartney will throw.
I'm still always surprised the smoke is allowed at all because it gets in your way. It clouds the field and it just seems like setting you up for it. Ooh, that's a high kick.
Yeah, very high kick there from Antwi, and Jorge Hernandez taking his properly allotted time to recover. No discipline given. Or at least not yet.
Have to look back on this. Seems like a clean 50-50 ball, and that's a hard one to say. Doesn't get much of a nick there on Jorge. We'll have to look at it from this angle, but maybe it's a no harm, no foul type situation. But anytime you've got cleats up like that, you know he saw the runner out of the corner of his eye. Soccer players have excellent peripherals, and I think if I'm the ref, I'm at least, well, I mean, he called it, right, in San Antonio's favor, just no cards awarded, which I guess fair. In a way you want to let people play.
Probably about 6 inches away from being a red card.
Yeah, especially with the cleats up, and had that time of the run been even a couple seconds different, it definitely would have been a reprimand.
Yerofev wins the 50-50 ball, and then McCartney sends it into the stands to reset SAFC's attack. I did want to say that SAFC is second in yellow cards with 24, while Birmingham has half at 12. And SAFC is second in USL with passes with 3,228 coming into the match, but they are also third in total fouls committed with 115. So it's always a physical match against SAFC. And that's kind of been their MO here at Toyota Field as well.
Yeah, I think since their inception, yellow cards have been their brand. Might as well start wearing yellow jerseys.
Yerofev lets it fly, misses wide right.
And again, some really great dynamic movement here coming from San Antonio. They're trying things at all angles from distance. The runs in. I mean, it's just, they're such a hard team to track and to beat here. And beautiful soccer all the way around. Doing great just to set himself up. But it looks like got a bit of a boot on it there from Ramiz Hamoda.
You see some early stats here. SAFC dominating in shots. 6 total, 2 on target. Meanwhile, like I said, Richard Sanchez hasn't had to worry about much. Nothing really head his way.
And that's when things are the worst.
Get lackadaisical?
Yeah.
Get a little complacent?
Yeah, I could never be a goalkeeper. I mean, size alone, all 5'2", not the best stature for goalkeeping, but just, you know, especially on cold days, you're sitting back there and you have to switch on really quick. You go from not moving a ton to just full bursts of speed. So, you know, they don't get to skip out on conditioning even though they're hanging out there in the box.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have my high school girls team was 23rd in the nation, and they had a very bored goalkeeper. Ward sends it out here to Pirano as they're trying to escape some tight passing by the Legion, and it'll reset out to their back line.
Really, up until that point, I think their pass percentage was close to 100% there for San Antonio. I haven't seen many turnovers at this point, which is always a good sign for San Antonio. You know, we've seen some different starts to these games, especially had a little bit of a tough road go of things, but seem to be really meshing and vibing here right now. You know, you talked about the yellows, and then you talked about the amount of passes, them leading the league. That's a very different brand there when it comes to the passing. There's something they were known for under Alan Marcina was not having a ton of passes. They just didn't waste the time. They were more direct and ended up winning the championship title from that. But I really like this brand of soccer here for San Antonio. It's like we've got a knock here.
Peter Lee Vassell comes up slow here, and it was a delayed call, but it might be the right one as just a bit tied up. Might have rolled his ankle a little bit, and we have an injury pause in play.
Yeah, that one looked like it hurt. I mean, I don't think he was aware of having stepped on the ankle in that way. He's going to have a nice, pretty colorful bruise at the end of the day after that. You can see he's still trying to find a way to put some pressure on it. Wants the call there. That was from Kirk Halov, trying to still push him out of the way. It was a pretty handsy tackle, I guess you could say. I wouldn't call it a tackle, but scrimmage.
It's been a very hands-on officiating so far from Atian Yaya, as felt like SAFC thought they had the opportunity to spark something quick in their desired direction, and it was taken away from them, and now we have a bit of a drop ball situation. We'll have some fair game as SAFC restarts things here, and Peter Lee Vassell will be on the sideline until further notice.
Which is unfortunate for Birmingham. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that call. Unless it's its own personal preference, just taking time to get back.
Seems to still be favoring that left leg, putting a lot of weight on his right as his team passes around in their defensive half of the pitch.
I mean, that hurts. It may look like just a simple step or nick, but I mean, there's so many little bones in the foot.
And now Johnson gets tripped up, and that will result in some discipline.
That was a clear yellow. You've got boots to ankles on that one.
Kadeem Cole stops the SAFC threat, but it leads to a dangerous set piece.
Things are starting to get chippy. I think players just upset. And actually, there was not any clear contact when you look at it. I mean, from this angle up here in the box, it looked like a full, clean kick to the ankles, but it was really close there. I think ref is most likely trying to just get things under control as the chippiness starts to tick up.
So after the yellow card for Cole, SAFC will have a free kick here at the edge of the attacking third. Cole in his orange boots, inches away from the ball. Ward in position to perhaps come in from behind if Kolev wants to get a stride and fake everybody out. Go ahead whistle is blown. Kolev motions everybody away. Teammates lined up across the 18. Here's the chip towards the 6. Aiming for Mitch Tainer and kept away from him on the defense by Cavada.
Really great defensive effort there by Cavada.
SAFC will get a corner kick out of it. Jorge Hernandez inching towards the corner. I believe Flores Blanco took the last one, and Jorge Hernandez will take it on the in-swing here. Second corner of the evening for SAFC. Looking to capitalize. Trying to break this scoreless tie. It's kept short. Slow roller into the box, right back out to Hernandez. And perhaps a bit of a broken play there as Yerofev will save possession. Ward with a long send to the opposite side of the field. Tainter comes down with it. Doesn't like the angle for the cross. Here's a strike by Kolev, saved. Follow-up not there for Hernandez, and a goal kick.
It was a little unorthodox, but still a really great effort there from San Antonio. I like that they didn't try to force that one in, not trying to force the cross, taking his time. He has all the space. It makes sense, and it sets up for a really direct look at goal. And so, again, San Antonio just playing a different brand of soccer. It's feeling very high IQ to me.
Kolev very much being asked to do everything for the Legion defense so far.
Guy who's done a really great job, had huge saves against Indy just to keep his team in it. I mean, saves nominated for Team of the Week.
Ward keeps it in play. Johnson, a little bit of trouble at his feet, and then he's tripped up. Another free kick here for SAFC. E.J. Johnson definitely seemed like he took one from the shin from my angle.
Definitely going to need an ice bath later with the amount of contact and connection he's had with other people's boots on his ankles and shins. Just looking back at this, what happened was the step on top of the boot, and man, does that hurt. Again, that's exactly what happened for Birmingham. Just a ton of really small bones and muscles in those feet, and a lot of times when you're stepping on the foot and then you move, it's also getting those intercostal muscles and all kinds of things. So it's tough to just hop right back up from.
Dangerous set piece. Edge of the attacking third. Jorge Hernandez will do the honors. Hernandez into the top of the 18 where it's headed out, and SAFC will chase down to recycle service. Kolev turns the corner, splits some defenders, looking for the 18. Slow order, Pirano, and Pirano couldn't quite time the touch right. And then Johnson, maybe messing around a little bit too much, will be whistled for. Just let him get the kickoff here. Another look.
This is the exact ball that Pirano wants. Really good on the 1v1. Typically just wasn't able to get that first touch. You can also see him holding his face. Most likely got an elbow to the nose as he was trying to run through there. But everyone knows Pirano has that speed. You got to slow him down somehow. And a lot of times that's through physicality. But yeah, what you saw there with the holdup was EJ there for San Antonio just trying to slow things down.
Trying to speed things up here. McCartney sends it wide. The Arbian into the area. Crognali cuts that one out. And Ward will find Johnson with a send. Jumping in front of it and then keeping it in play on the nice defensive effort of Muda. And a nice slide tackle there by Ward sets up a corner kick for Birmingham.
Show out of defense here for both Birmingham and San Antonio. Ward, an incredible addition to San Antonio, not only with what he does on defense, but the way he gets up into the attack, just really, really calculated. Again, a hard guy to track. But all of that started with Moda. It's a great read, getting out in front of EJ there.
Peter Vassell back into the match. His first touch since leaving with an ankle injury will send it right to Richard Sanchez. You can score off of a corner kick. Seemed like that might have been what he was thinking.
Yeah, really tough to do to get by Richard Sanchez with all that height, unless you put a really nice heavy bend on it for an Olympico. It's a rarity to happen. You also need the wind in your favor.
A light breeze by San Antonio standards.
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy here weather-wise. Actually pretty moderate. Maybe a little humid. Got Fiesta in full swing, and we had about 5 or 6 days of pure rain, so mosquitoes are alive and well.
Very happy that we don't play in a rain match, but also we're in the booth, so that is what it is.
Hair is grateful for it. So.
Got to make sure the hair looks good.
That's what hairspray's for. Back to soccer.
Yeah, slow developing play here as the Legion allow us to talk about Katie's hair for a moment. That one ends up in the touch for an SAFC throw.
Yeah, looking like there's just a little bit of lack in communication here going on for Birmingham. Just not quite as sharp as they want to be, which is unfortunate because they do such a great job typically out of the build-out when they are in possession. So it's just one of those times you can't have that turnover. So got Ronaldo Damas up top for Birmingham. Been a little bit quiet. Last season had 11 goals, led with 127 aerial duels. Led the team in minutes as well, and it's just been a little bit quiet on the aerial side of things. Typically his bread and butter there.
Flores Blanco sends it towards the net and almost headed into the back of the net by Johnson. Just didn't time it right. I think it caught a dreadlock. This is how close it was, Katie.
Again, Nelson doing a great job getting his head up, and I think you're right, just barely touching the hair. Timing of the run just a smidge off, but we've seen this time and time again from San Antonio. All the things going really well between the 18s, the development, the quality of play really truly looks next level. But when it comes to the finish in the box, it's maybe a half step off, maybe just a little bit of delay or a little bit too fast in the run. And that kind of thing only comes along with time, you know. But even still, San Antonio doing well to put up numbers, to put up goals. Again, you're seeing a great performance from them here, but if they're not going to put it away, that's the name of the game, right? So you have to find a way to be a little bit more clinical on offense, which is interesting considering how much depth they have on the offensive side. You also have Santiago Patino on the bench at the moment, Christian Sordo as well, Diogo Pacheco, lots of power to pull from.
Yerofev trying for a long throw. A lot of his teammates in the 18. Looks like where he's aiming. Nice touches around, but just deflected, and it'll be a corner kick for SAFC. Right idea, Flores Blanco. Just had it denied before it could get to the frame.
Another really good chance here for San Antonio, but denied there by Kavita. You can just see Birmingham's defense a little bit in disarray. Lucky there that that ball deflected outside the post, but in the right place at the right time nonetheless.
Jorge Hernandez will line up yet another corner kick for San Antonio. Colvin Johnson inside the 6. Off the head of Yerofev and just misses the top corner. Mitri adds to the list of almost goals for SAFC, yet we remain scoreless.
Close but no cigar there for San Antonio. And again, one of the most dynamic teams, I think, in the USL Championship this season for the ways that they're able to put it up on net.
Gideon Cole lost it there to Cronulla. Brano couldn't quite catch up to it before it was knocked away from him. Quick throw in for Ward.
Cronulla there to Thiago Suarez, two guys who played for Birmingham Legion for quite some time before making their way over to San Antonio. Cronulla having played in 23 and 24, total of 5 goals within that time. And then Thiago Suarez last season, 22 appearances, at 12 interceptions, 60 clearances, and had a 61.9% duels won percentage. So has really been a contributor over there, and it wouldn't shock me if it wasn't Alex Cronulla who put in a good word for him to get over here.
Sanchez had to come out of the box to receive that. It looked like the offside flag stayed down, but Yaya, our official, says no, that was offside in a goal kick or a free kick for SAFC. And you know, I can understand the gripe that Birmingham has if the assistant on the sideline kept his flag down, but that was very much a big strides of separation between the last defender.
Yeah, pretty clear call on that one.
Johnson's tripped up. No call this time, as it'll be a throw-in. And a throw-in for SAFC, not for the Legion. So just so the visuals on the screen are noted for the actual call. Legion very eagerly thought that that was their possession. Instead, it was a foul called and a free kick for SAFC. They restart quickly. Cronulla with some space on the right side. Pirano with some pressure had to retreat back to the back line.
Got a big, San Antonio has a big switch opportunity, which Cronulla takes.
Jorge Hernandez is there. Nelson Flores Blanco to Yerofev. Flores Blanco had it knocked into the stands there by Jagarthan.
San Antonio FC should publish a run pattern of Jorge Hernandez, his runs throughout every game, because 1 minute he's in the middle, the next minute he's in the top corner, then he's trading places with Nelson and trading places with Ward, and you know, such a dynamic player. Again, the glue, it's really obvious when he's not out there, but I think everyone on this team has picked up what it means to play every position on this field. That's an unlucky moment there for Birmingham. Man, that turnover could have been the point they need.
Ended by a handball. Ward on the offensive half of the pitch. Goes back to midfield, Eurofeb. Eurofeb with a send, splitting the defenders. A chance here for Hernandez to create. At the edge of the box. Looking for a run. Pirano at the 18. Pirano can't find the space. Retreats out of the penalty arc.
This is the point of contention here for San Antonio. Get really ambitious, getting all numbers up top, and then sometimes it's that transitional moment that gets them. I think Birmingham's starting to pick up on that now that we're in the 36th minute, getting really compact and keeping a couple of guys perched up top.
Foul on SAFC. You might have heard Jay Heaps yell from the sidelines, that should be a yellow. It's the same thing. It doesn't seem like the yellow card will leave the pocket.
Ref just trying to let these guys play right now, which, as we know in the USL Championship, can escalate very quickly. But I think most players can respect just allowing people to play, as long as it's even on both sides.
Hernandez waits for his teammates to set up some runs. Backheel goes awry. Nice idea there by Pirano, just in the way were the defenders.
It was clever, and at least when he lost it, he got back to defend and forced them to advance with a slower build out. And I think that's one of those things that San Antonio FC also does well, is defending from the very front, forcing the ball, except a nice through ball there for Birmingham, finding that seam.
Yeah, Hamuda with a great pass there to Cole, and then it seemed like they weren't even ready to advance the ball. And you know, that's something I've noticed from Birmingham a few times tonight. It seems like they have the opportunity to sort of push the tempo and create counter opportunities, and then they lose interest midway through the attack. And they go back line, and SAFC has chances to create.
I think they've just been on the defense for quite a bit of time that they have to switch.
Ward with the steal. Ward with the strike. It goes over the crossbar.
Great opportunity there for Ward, and we've seen him put it away from there before, as it looks like he lost a shin guard. But doing well just to separate from the defender, gets a look at it. Looks like could have potentially been a deflection, but again, any player on this San Antonio FC squad can put it away, and I think that was a big criterion there for Coach Yamosa.
Sanchez can't use his hands outside the box, kicks it away, and Kolev will take it. Last time we were here a couple weeks ago, it was a scoreless draw against Miami FC. Currently scoreless here as we're about to wrap up the 39th minute.
And it was a similar situation in that San Antonio FC really dominated, showed some really pretty soccer, but then just didn't put away, allowed Miami to hang around, and that's, you know, even had a couple close calls of their own.
Eurofev had a nice touch there to Johnson, who couldn't quite control. Cronali comes up with the interception, and no real opportunity to create. Pasher trying to dribble through the defense, and it's intercepted by Eurofev, and as soon as it gets to the SAFC feet, a foul is called. No advantage played to, and Legion will have a free kick.
Cronali's name on Team of the Week quite a few times for San Antonio FC, and a big part of it is just continuing to bulldoze through and up. But yeah, things getting a bit chippy there.
Yeah, you see why Pasher was held up, and SAFC certainly physical play as per usual. Pressure on the back line. Sending a touch by Suarez.
You look at San Antonio FC's back line. I mean, you've got Mitch Tainer, Thiago Suarez, Alex Cronali, Ward there along the back line, but you still have guys like Danny Barber on the bench ready to come in at any time. Again, a guy who could be a starter on any squad, and it must be so hard being in that head coach position, figuring out who's going to make the start today, because the talent pool is huge here in San Antonio.
A blessing and a curse, I suppose. Johnson tried to track it down to the sideline. Hamuda with good defense marking Johnson there in transition. Kavita swings it over to the right side. Nice through by Tagarthan into the area. Ends up the feet of Sanchez and will hop on top of it.
Bit of momentum going for Birmingham there, uncontested. And then almost an overcommit from Sanchez. Good on him, able to get back and recover that one.
McCartney. And flag is up and offside goes against Birmingham.
Lucky for San Antonio, it's looking like physically things starting to slow down a bit for them. They're allowing Birmingham to carry the ball at them a little bit more, less dictating of play in these last 5 minutes, I would say. Of course, things can change quickly at any time, but you know, when you look at San Antonio and their key identity, it's really being the aggressor right from the get-go, and that's why they've managed this game mostly. But once they start to get fatigued, then you see where they allow Birmingham to, connect a few more passes, drive at them a little more, and Birmingham's wise. They're going to start putting bodies on San Antonio just to slow things down. I mean, it's a lot of chasing, a lot of watching.
Ward on a run, stays on side, has to bring it down on the sideline.
Beautiful touch.
Eurofed finds Ward on stride. Eurofed looking to recycle. Jorge Hernandez cuts back into the area. Nice move to his left. Tries to strike, and then it just goes off the foot of the defender. Nice job there from Hamuda to make sure it doesn't get on frame.
Really beautiful effort from the get-go with Ward and just working to create that advantage there. And Jorge Hernandez faking out not one, not two, but three guys to put it away. To work towards putting it away, rather. But I think, when you look at San Antonio, they do everything almost perfectly between the 18s, and I think they are expecting that perfection in the box, when in reality, it's maybe the quicker trigger that is going to be more successful for them. Just getting the shot off, not looking for the perfect look at goal.
Ensuing corner kick comes from Jorge Hernandez. Caleb sends it towards the 6. Off the head, and then another save, that time with the feet there by Kalela. Man, he has had to stand on his head in this first half.
Yeah, he has. A great service in there from Caleb. Thiago Suarez trying to slot it by, but you've got Kalela about to, I think, make a huge name for himself in this game for what he has done so far just to keep San Antonio at bay. It's been what feels like an onslaught of pressure and beautiful offensive creation, and he's done so well just to read the game, to react well, to get his feet in the right place, and I would not be shocked if he ends up on Save of the Week after this game.
Still another half to be played. See if he can continue that magic here as Kolob will send a cross. Misses all the intended targets. Flores Blanco almost got it off of his foot, and that would have been a thing of beauty. Instead, it's a throw in for the Legion.
Always tough when there's a lot of traffic. That ball skirts by. But lucky day for Birmingham. I think if they get to the half here, 0-0, we'll have a lot to discuss, but lucky that they hadn't let up a goal within this 45 minutes with what we've seen from San Antonio.
Collision will go against SAFC on the whistle.
If you can recall, similar foul happened against San Antonio. Ref did not give a yellow. Wondering if connection happened here on that foul.
Kavita, I believe, is a little slow to get up.
Good to see him up nonetheless. See, He goes in for it. He doesn't see him coming from behind him, so the foot is up, hoping to chip it over behind him. So, yeah, that's not going to be a call, but did get some connection there, and that hurts. Glad to see him up and walking okay.
Manuel Kavita would take the free kick, and it leads to attacking third edge here for Birmingham, trying to score before the end of the half. Pasher takes it to the middle of the field where it's intercepted by Koloff. Counter opportunity the other way, but a little too strong on the pass. Perano can't catch up.
The intention is good. San Antonio has done well to force quite a few turnovers in key spots with Birmingham.
Well, that'll be the half, and Birmingham heads into the locker rooms unscathed, but this has certainly been all the momentum in favor of SC. After 45 complete, though, we're scoreless in San Antonio. If you're still a little curious how the USL Cup works, stick around for the halftime feature on it. No score here in San Antonio.
Built to tough it out. And to take it easy. Built to carry tradition and to make new ones. The 2026 Toyota Tundra. Built in Texas, driven everywhere.
Qualified buyers get 2.99 APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 of venture cash on a 2026 Tundra. Offer ends May 4th.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Dude.
Good morning, San Antonio.
Hey, there he is.
The Spurs pulled off an exciting win last night.
Good morning.
Where's my high five at?
You good?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. Okay.
Coyote combo and get a free collectible Spurs cup. Only at Taco Palenque, official fresh mix of the Spurs.
When Hartford Athletics' Adrian Deespace scored in the 83rd minute against Rhode Island FC, it began a furious finish to the 2025 USL Cup group stage finales. Deespace's goal kept Hartford alive in the race to advance in the competition as a wild card. Less than 10 minutes later in Detroit, Matt Sheldon capped Detroit City's 3-0 win over Westchester SC, taking that wild card away from Hartford. Minutes later in Kentucky, Louisville City's Jake Morris scored twice in added time to defeat Lexington SC 2-1. Louisville was now the owner of the wild card, but not for long. Back in Pawtucket, Hartford outlasted Rhode Island in a penalty kick shootout. Hartford Athletic reclaimed the wild card spot that two other clubs held for mere minutes. So how did we get here? Well, after 4 group stage matches, Hartford Athletic and Louisville City were tied with 9 points. The first tiebreaker, total goals. Hartford scored 9, Louisville had 8. And that wild card spot launched Hartford's run to the USL Cup title. This year's Cup promises even more drama. 42 clubs in the USL Championship and League One will form 7 groups filled out by region. Each club will play 4 group matches, and when the dust settles, the 7 group winners will advance along with 1 wildcard team, not 2 wildcards like last year. The remaining 8 clubs will be drawn into 4 quarterfinal matches with 1 stipulation. The wildcard cannot be drawn against its group winner. The 4 quarterfinal winners will then be drawn for the semifinal round, with the two finalists drawn to determine the host for the Prinx Tires USL Cup Final.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Prinx tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinx tires will be there for the long haul.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
It is halftime in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Time for some of the headlines for this week. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. Corey Bennett of Colorado Springs scored 2 goals against Monterey Bay in Week 7 of the USL Championship. That's 6 goals for the season, the Golden Boot lead through 7 games, and that total matches the season high for an individual player from the Switchbacks in 2025. In League One, AC Boise's first home victory of the season was a dominating 4-0 performance against Westchester SC. Dennis Kostashin climbed within a goal of the leader in the Golden Boot race with a pair of goals. He's now scored 3 times in Boise's past 2 games. And Boise played a big part in a huge attendance week for League One in Week 7. More than 22,000 fans total. Boise led the way with 7,204. And Portland Hearts of Pine close behind, 6,033. If those 2 clubs were in the USL Championship, Boise would rank 6th in average attendance through 7 weeks. Portland would rank 8th. Upcoming national broadcasts for both the championship and League One: Detroit City and Louisville City. Boise hosts FC Naples, and Richmond hosts Charleston in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. All 3 matches are on the CBS Sports Network. Well, the second half is getting closer. Let's get you back out to your match.
Yeah, people in this industry know all about the f***ers at Davis Law Firm. If we get a case with their name on it, then we know for darn sure we are likely not settling cheap.
Yeah, I'm adjusting to retired life fine. I don't have to go up against the f***ers at Davis Law Firm anymore. Believe me, we tried, but it was hard to lowball those f***ers.
Dealing with insurance companies after a wreck can be a real challenge. If you're hurt, remember the 4-letter word that can help. Want more? Call the Force.
A cleaned up mess will cost you less, 'cause HEB has price cuts. And baby poo, that costs less too.
HEB has cut thousands of prices on the things you use most, so look for the tags and save.
$10 for a large, $10 for any 3 toppings, $10 for your choice of hot crust. Like our new garlic parm hand tossed. Because there's crust, and then there's hut crust. The crust you crave, only $10. Order in the Pizza Hut app.
What do you do when you throw out your back?
Use caution when lifting heavy objects.
How do I eliminate back pain?
I'm not tracking any rain right now.
Back pain?
Got it. Calling back Shane.
Forget it.
Sorry, didn't get that.
High quality emergency care. Find your nearest location.
When you donate or shop at Goodwill, you'll help train future truck drivers through our local career training programs. Good job, everyone.
No score at halftime here at Toyota Field, the home of San Antonio FC, as they host Birmingham Legion in the first game of group play of the USL Cup. Hello, everyone, along with Katie Goodman and the rest of the crew. I'm Carl Schoening. Happy you guys joined us this evening. Katie, the story of the first half was SAFC got a lot of chances. None of them went through the goal line.
They've done so well just being the aggressors out here tonight. Not having to be too physical, really great possession, great job pinging the ball around, but it's in that attacking third where they just can't quite slot it by the keeper there. And but doing a really good job nonetheless. And as you can see there, it's just, I think they're waiting for the perfect opportunity, and it just has not fallen in their favor. But they've attacked this game in multiple ways, whether it's runs through the 5 from distance, great composure there from Mitch just to send that one out wide for a long shot, not able to finish it up on the follow-up. But, I mean, again, this San Antonio team is really difficult because they're so dynamic. They command things on defense. The build-out is really clean, and that sets them up to try to attack in many different ways. As mentioned, shots from outside. They're getting to the end line, bringing it back, whether it be the 5 or the 18. And so it just feels like a matter of time before things start to fall into place here for San Antonio.
Highlights brought to you by HEB, and a lot of those highlights, the almost goals there from SAFC, as we'll check out some stats here in a moment. But it's very one-sided on the offensive side of things, as SAFC has outshot Birmingham 13-1. And you feel like a breakthrough is going to come, but here you see the full stats, and we remain scoreless here with 45 to play.
Yeah, I mean, 13 shots to 1. Big part of that is that compact nature there from Birmingham Legion. They're struggling to get out in transition to get that one on San Antonio. But yeah, 4 shots on target, 18 touches in the box for San Antonio. Just great stuff across the board.
Yeah.
Full dominance.
Halftime stats brought to you by HEB. All those corner kicks led to some opportunities, but nothing quite there for SAFC. They're looking for the breakthrough when we start the second half, when we come back here at Toyota Field.
Built to tough it out. And to take it easy. Built to carry tradition and to make new ones. The 2026 Toyota Tundra. Built in Texas, driven everywhere.
Right now, qualified lessees can lease a rugged new 2026 Tundra SR5 for $449 a month for 36 months. Offer ends May 4th.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Taco Bell night with the fresh mixed flavors. San Antonio Spurs are the true game changers. Taco Bell all day. Go Spurs, go!
Buy a Coyote combo and get a free collectible Spurs cup. Only at Taco Palenque, official fresh mix of the Spurs.
Dude.
The USL is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Methodist Healthcare, proudly offering 10 neighborhood ERs across San Antonio. The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Prinx Tires is the proud sponsor of the presenting sponsor of the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Built for practical performance and the long haul, Prinx Tires delivers reliability for everyday drivers like you. Visit PrinxTireUSA.com to learn more. I'm Carl Schoening along with Katie Goodman. We're scoreless here as halftime is about to wrap up at Toyota Field. The first 45 minutes saw a lot of action from strikers of SAFC. 13 shots, 4 on target, none getting past the goalkeeper. As Katie, I think sometimes that's how it is, and you said it best. That's still the name of the game. But just a reminder for anybody watching, if we hit full-time at a draw, we are going to PKs, and there's an additional point on the line here for USL Cup play.
Which really makes things interesting. I mean, everyone wants to win the PK nonetheless, but, you know, it's even better when you get an additional point for that, which keeps things from tying up too closely, especially in a group-style tournament like this. There were some substitutions made at the half. Christian Sordo coming in for Emmanuel Johnson, and then on the Birmingham side, Amir Daly coming in for McCartney. So, you know, what they say, substitutions change things. So, we'll see what happens here, Carl.
It's a great night here at Toyota Field. 84 degrees, a little bit warm, but once we hit May, it'll probably be around 90, so let's enjoy these quote-unquote spring evenings while we have a chance. Always great crowds here at Toyota Field, and if you're somebody who's been on the fence, get off the fence and come out here to a good game. Every match is fun, family-friendly, and a good time. SAFC plays a fun brand of soccer, and you see the supporters there with the colorful jerseys, the fun scarves, the light breeze. It's a really nice night here in San Antonio, Katie.
Yeah, soccer's fun to watch to begin with, but when you've got a rowdy crowd out there getting invested, you know, when you feel like you actually make a difference in the result of the game, which is true, you come out here and you let the ref know how you feel, and sometimes it can help sway opinions. So come out and have fun. And especially when your team is pretty good here, like San Antonio FC, it's a good team to watch.
Check out some subs there as EJ Johnson is out and Christian Sorto is in for SAFC. And on the other side, McCartney leaves, as entering the match is going to be Amir Daly for Birmingham.
Daly, one of those players that when head coach Mark Briggs was ahead of the program for Birmingham Legion FC, had tracked him from a young age, and so he's been with the team since 2025, but they've been tracking him since 2019. Last season had a goal and 3 assists as well. Played at Duke, played for FC Cincinnati, so another star-studded player here for the lineup in Birmingham.
Yeah, well, we talk about Jay Heaps, the head coach of Birmingham Legion, and somebody who played for the American national team. He went to Duke himself, and he's in the Duke Athletics Hall of Fame. So that Duke connection, whether it's the NBA or the USL Championship, that can get you jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the real world.
Absolutely.
I didn't even try to apply to Duke, I'll put it that way.
You and me both. Mississippi State, very different academic standard.
Pasher with a great touch out to the left side. Ward on the mark. Tainer comes in to make the pass.
Birmingham a little bit more on the front foot here. I think understanding that you cannot allow San Antonio to continue to play at you or you're going to have problems.
Pasher retreats out. Hamuda with a one touch.
For Birmingham, it's just finding that rhythm, that continued momentum, and they're doing that here just by connecting passes.
They have been connecting passes, and now it's broken up by SAFC to slow their momentum. And that's what I was getting at earlier in the first half. Birmingham has what seems to be good opportunities as they'll get the throw in here, but it feels like they sort of get interested in something other than looking for the frame, and that's why they only have one shot so far in the match, because they've certainly had their opportunities to maybe take what I like to call a YOLO shot, and they haven't even really put anything to make Richard Sanchez sweat tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had a couple of opportunities to move forward. Then it was called offside, or there was a handball, or, you know, almost capitalized on a good turnover moment, and things just have not quite gone their way. But a big part of that is the rhythm and the momentum, you know. Everyone who has played the game of soccer knows that momentum and rhythm is everything.
Mitch Tanner with a long send. Just missing Ward. Ward couldn't quite pull it down. Bounced over his foot.
Quality effort and a quality idea, just trying to get that big switch in. That's some of the trouble that, or some of the areas where Birmingham has had trouble managing, is that big side-to-side switch movement, just adjusting. I mean, they do well to stay compact, but once they win the ball, it's building out in those moments.
Turnover here, trying to break through is SAFC. Sorto sends it outside, and then a Kolob strike bounces off of a wall. The recycled service bounces right back out. Eurofed. Mitch Tanner. Flores Blanco back out to Tainter. They're resetting the spacing here by going to the defense half of the pitch. Thiago Suarez didn't get a clean touch on it, but still finds Crenali on the opposite side. And Crenali allows that one to roll across the sideline, as the final touch was made there by Dumas. Flores Blanco sets up Hernandez. Kolob. Nice touch there by Hernandez as he was Pirano as he was falling down. Pasher playing through the advantage. Will try his strike, and well, that'll go down as the second shot, but just misses target, and now a whistle and a yellow card will go against SAFC. After the progression of play is done, the discipline is given.
Absolute power coming from the top of the circle there from Pasher. Taking his chance. He saw the wide open shot, and it's not a bad one. He was able to, within that power, keep it down and almost on frame. I think he's realizing, hey, you got to take the shots when you've got them, because San Antonio is just not easy to play through.
Christian Pirano picks up his third yellow card of the season. First one of the evening for SAFC. Richard Sanchez, after that strike, misses the outside corner, will send it away. One more look at the yellow that Pirano was eventually tagged with after the advantage was played to.
Ooh, big old bear hug to pull down. Ronaldo Damas, not good there. Just trying to stop play. But that foul was really, really after the fact. Damas, a guy who's been really quiet so far in this matchup. Again, last season, 11 goals. Led the team with minutes and aerial duels won. Feels like he's still waiting to open up the scoring here.
Dangerous set piece here for SAFC. Jorge Hernandez talking to Kirk Hall of how to handle it. Hernandez will take it. Eurofed the option to his left. Jorge Hernandez points out his target. Dmitry Eurofed. Eurofed with a strike goes over the crossbar and a little bit wide. Second time that he's tried an outside the box shot.
Taking one more look at it here, does well to set himself up. I think the ball gets a little bit too far outside the left boot, which causes it to go pretty wide there of the post. But the intention was good. Nobody harmed in the crowd, thankfully. It's quite the bullet.
Hope you're paying attention if you're behind the goal.
Yeah. Should be discounted season seats back there for risk of concussion.
Very much a sport you got to have your head on the swivel, even in the stands. Amir Daly sends it over to the right side. Tregarthen looking to set up Pasher and then cut out. Good defense there by Thiago Suarez.
Has done so well to make a name for himself here in San Antonio and in the USL Championship. Came over from New England Revolution, Major League Soccer, played for MLS Next Pro, and then, of course, Birmingham and now San Antonio, and has just been an absolute standout here to an already star-studded back line. And a big part of it is that hustle. He does well on both sides of the ball.
Tregarthen tried a cross, but the pressure from Nelson Flores Blanco sends it across the end line, and a goal kick here for Richard Sanchez. Carlos Imosa, head coach for SAFC, looking on as Richard Sanchez boots that one across midfield. Sent high by Mitch Tainter. Center circle touches here for Birmingham. They'll control possession. Heading backward to Fanuel Kavita. Good send there by Daly into the box, but no real pressure, and a corner kick is the result.
San Antonio giving Birmingham absolutely nothing in the run of play. They're going to have to convert here on the corner if they want to stay in this. Really their best chances in the game coming from these set pieces.
Tyler Pasher trying to create an opportunity on the corner. A rare occurrence here for Birmingham. Off ahead of Kavita, but couldn't quite direct it the way he wanted to, and a goal kick for Richard Sanchez. And Mitch Tainter comes up limping a little bit. Tainter, somebody who leads SAFC in appearances and minutes for the club's history. He shakes it off. Richard Sanchez gives his team plenty of time as he has his back line push up the center circle.
Now that's the tough part about these in-season tournaments is it still opens up opportunity for injury. And
Sorto with a low cross. Hamoud sends it out.
Makes you
throwing.
I was going to say, it makes you wonder, you know, at what price are we willing to pay to have these guys add so many games to the roster every season? But again, the San Antonio team has plenty of depth to pull from. Danny Barber on the bench as we speak. Someone who could fill those shoes.
Call it. Looking for the foul, not going to get it. Pasher turns the corner. Long through ball. Caught up to by Cole. Tregarthen sets up on Twee. Pasher sends it wide on the switch of the pitch. The RBN decides to retreat outside of the box, and a reset to the back line here for Birmingham. Seems like we missed a sub as Sam Mickelhatton is into the match on the back line. And a counter here, Sorto ahead of the pack for SAFC. It's a 2-on-4. Sorto decides to wait for a couple of his teammates. O'Connor Ward switches the pitch out here to Flores Blanco. Nelson Flores Blanco slowing down the offense. Faith. Flores Blanco tries a cross, and Kavita sends that one into the stands. Corner kick for SAFC.
Birmingham doing a better job of slowing San Antonio down a little more on that build out. Not making those checks into the box so easy as you would see in the first half.
Fifth corner, one for SAFC. First one of the second half. Torkalov will send it away. No short option. Adjust it on the corner arc. Looking back post. Headed to that by Hamuda. Recycling of the service. Jorge Hernandez. He'll try a cross. Cleared out by Antwi. O'Connor Ward retains possession for SAFC. Birofev. Back out to Mitch Tainer.
Another thing San Antonio has done so well is just winning the second ball.
Antwi with a really rough foul there, knocks Sperano down.
Yeah, I mean, a hit from the back, that's going to get you booked every time. He's surrounded, and as he goes down, he's holding his back too. I mean, it's a really tough angle to hit.
Bit of a mistimed run there, and the Legion want to spark a counter. Pasher slows it down to make a more precise pass to Tregarthen. Pasher playing ahead. Has it at the corner of the 18, trying to split the defenders. Cross by McCartney is denied. Akeem O'Connor Ward forces the corner kick.
Great work there from Pasher. He's the one player that has really not been quiet in this Birmingham Legion lineup. Has done well to make himself known. He's taking the shots. He's putting in the effort. I think needs a little bit of support to connect.
Tregarthen with the corner. Punched out by Sanchez. The recycle and off the head of Hamuda and easily caught there by Richard Sanchez. Solid enough effort there by Amir Daly to recycle the service.
Yeah, just not enough power behind the header, not enough placement, but Sanchez doing a great job just to be at the right place at the right time, doing the basics well.
That sequence is the most he's been called into action in succession this entire game. Halfway through the 62nd minute, whistles will slow things down, and now a goal kick will be allowed to be sent away. Quick change in positioning. Very rarely have they kept it short. Eventually the back line pushes up. Or Kalele now will be told, hey, kick it. Come on, let's hurry. Let's get this game underway. This is a rather long goal kick here.
Got Jorge Hernandez, the agitator.
Caged Lion SAFC players at the 18 looking to charge. Here they come. It'll get all the way through to midfield. Tregarthen stumbles and then collects himself as he wants to take to the penalty arc, knocked away from behind by Collins.
Quality hustle back. I think some of the theatrics there at the other end of the field kind of worked for Birmingham in that moment. But gutsy to play low out of the back, especially when you've got speedy Jorge Hernandez right there coming in for the attack. As you can see, there's a little bit of a higher press. You've got Damas trying to force the ball one way, but San Antonio's defense just doing a really good job to stay calm, composed, still doing what they want to with the ball.
Casual jog forward by Mitch Tainer, Forrest Blanco onto the offensive half of the pitch.
There's a big switch to O'Connor Ward if they can get it there.
Still no score. 64th minute now.
Things slowing down a bit, I think as intended. Birmingham doing a little bit better job defending higher up the field. I think that first half they were just a little too compact. Not going to say park the bus because that's not what happened, but just a little bit more of a mid block instead of a higher press.
the sidelines were a lot more open, and SAFC took advantage of that in the first half for sure. It seems like the sidelines might be open a little bit here as finally SAFC will work it over to O'Connor Ward on the right side. He'll make his move across midfield. O'Connor Ward will be whistled for the foul there as once again Sam Mickelhatton is in the match. Seems like he's playing a few different spots around the field since he came in.
I think when he initially got in, he was just trying to recover for his back line, so it wasn't an easy drive in for San Antonio, but Mickelhatton has done really well there in the middle of the park. Had a goal against Pittsburgh off a diagonal run in. He's got the speed, and you've got to watch him too on the late runs as well.
Tregarthen marked there by Crognali. Into the 18. Tregarthen couldn't hold it on, and then it's sent away by Mitch Tainer. And Tainer's bicycle kick ends all the way across midfield, taken by Kavita. Over here to Daly. Daly chests it down to collect. And sends it back to Kavita, who's dealing with some pressure.
Birmingham looking really confident and composed here. Quick one-touch movement with a big switch on if they can get it there quickly.
Hamuda, not enough urgency there, will throw off the action, but still in the possession here as Diarbian couldn't quite control it down the sideline, but a corner kick. Wait, beg your pardon, it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, an absolute 10-10 class of a slide tackle as well there from Alex Crognali. No feet or ankles, all ball, and somehow able to still win the advantage from the goal kick.
So Salcedo will come in here. SAFC will be bringing in Cuello. Emil Cuello will enter the match, and a little bit of confusion there as the numbers were thrown up, who's coming in at which time for which team, as we'll eventually get all of this sorted out, as it looks like Serge Ngona will come into the match, as well as Romario Williams. So substitution window was a very busy one for both teams, trying to find somebody to be a difference maker in this scoreless match. And now Jay Heaps is getting an explanation and the yellow card.
As the crowd goes wild.
So the second Birmingham yellow card of the match goes to Jay Heaps, who overall seems like a very polite individual. I wonder what he said. Richard Sanchez restarts things with that goal kick. Feels like forever ago that was awarded to SAFC after all the subs.
Well, talking about firepower, definitely a spark coming off the bench here for Birmingham. Mario Williams leading the team in minutes up until this game, 430 minutes this season.
Cuello with a rocket of a cross eventually ends up to O'Connor Ward. Here's Sorto, taken away from behind. Mitch Tainer slides in to collect, and then a foul will be called. Or handball, I beg your pardon. Handball goes against SAFC. Fans don't like the call, neither does Mitch Tainer.
He says no, but what does the replay say? And no, that was all chest, not a single hand in sight. Not sure what the hands are up for, just trying to sell it. But hey, let's talk about that hit he had right after that. Absolutely drilled it to the hands of the keeper. I mean, he is becoming known for his shots from distance. We saw one from Alex Crognali in the El Paso game, shot it from 70 yards out, but Mitch Tainer can do the same. And again, when we talk about the talent on this field, it is sky's the limit for San Antonio. But now they've got a little bit more to handle here. Look at the pace pickup. The energy has shifted with these super subs.
Grinali knocking one of them down. Romario Williams hits the grass, and a free kick here for the Legion.
Williams with a goal and an assist already on the season. Seems like the guy you want in this moment.
Jagarthan heads it down. Antwi.
Speaking of goals for Romario Williams, approaching 70 regular season goals, sitting at 67 right now. Of course, any goals scored here won't go to that number, but, you know, still really impressive for his time at the club to have accumulated so many.
Hamuda gets it to Seth Antwi. Antwi finds somebody on side. Pasher couldn't control the pass, and Ngoma will collect. And Ngoma tried to cut back, and then an attack and a good save there by Sanchez as the strike coming from Mikkel Hatton almost found the back of the net.
Not an uncharacteristic run there for Mikkel Hatton, picking up whatever comes through last on the late runs. Again, has scored from that exact position and situation before. I think it's the first time we're seeing San Antonio FC a little bit discombobulated, chaotic, not something that happens often for them.
Pasher on the ensuing corner, sent out by Sorta. Mikkel Hatton couldn't catch up to it in the penalty area, and now a counter is on for SAFC. Jorge Hernandez has the numbers. Tries to chip it to himself, and Kavita will head it out.
I think that last touch was a little bit far. He was trying to get it through to Pirano. Defender did a really great job reading that, just cutting off that angle.
Mikkel Hatton gets it here to Antwi.
And it does feel like the momentum has shifted here for Birmingham, and this is something that San Antonio does. They play really well, really strong right from the first whistle, and then they allow these teams to hang around, and all it takes is one goal to change the look of the game.
Yeah, you mentioned that SAFC had a 2-0 lead against El Paso until stoppage time of the first half. Locomotive last week in the opening game of Copa Tejas eventually tied it up at 2, and it was Christian Pirano who was the hero, scoring in the 90th minute to eventually give SAFC the 3 points and the first win of Copa Tejas. But you're right, one goal changes everything. SAFC out shooting doesn't matter if the first goal goes to the Legion. O'Connor Ward. Yerofev gets back on the one touch. Tries to strike from outside the box, and it goes wide. That's the third time he's tried something from outside, the closest chance he's gotten.
You can tell he really loves that ball there at the top of the 18. And the way in which he receives it, a lot better first touch than what we saw in that last corner kick, and a lot of great power, just not quite where he needed it to be. There's a lot of traffic in that moment. He tried to find the seam. I think the seam just did not allow for the clean look at goal. But again, San Antonio doing good to put shots up. They've just got to be better.
The definition of better in this case being score a goal. Otherwise, the opportunities have certainly been there. Jorge Hernandez comes up with possession for SAFC and then immediately gives it right back, trying to find Pirano. Seth Antwi. Slows things down here for the Legion. Mikkel Hatton thought better of the switch of the pitch. This half, it's really been even. 4 shots, both sides, and the Birmingham Legion have the one on target.
You could feel that energy shift from the beginning of the half, and then with the substitutions of Romario Williams, things really changed. I mean, just talk about an absolute spark off the bench. It feels contagious for Birmingham.
Mikkel Hatton with the service over to the opposite side of the field. Jagarthan tries to send it into the area and taken by Mitch Tainer. Not sure if there was an intended target there. Cuello comes down to the slide tackle to regain possession against Ngoma.
These two teams have decided to make it an interesting game. I mean, just great stuff all the way around.
Christian Sorto trying to turn on the Jets. He has some space down the side, looking for a teammate on a run. Sorto takes it into the area. Slow roller cut out there by Kavita. Corner kick for SAFC.
Again, San Antonio doing well through the run of play to get into the box.
Quick look on the nice move by Sordo to shift gears and find the space that eventually leads to the corner kick for Jorge Hernandez.
What separates San Antonio from the rest is the first touch. Every single guy on this field has had incredible first touch, which sets them up for the next great look. Would say Birmingham may be lagging just a bit in that area, and that's where the dominance comes from for San Antonio. Calm, composed first touches. When you look at that Sordo dribble, he opened up his chest, was able to separate from the defender.
Slow roller for Jorge Hernandez. He gets it back on a one-touch. Cuello tries to strike, bounced off a defender, and ricochets all the way out towards midfield. Collision. O'Connor Ward will draw the foul, if I'm not mistaken. Either he committed it or he's going to get tagged with a yellow. That is an interesting yellow. I might have missed it on the play that happened right in front of us, but Akeem O'Connor Ward is befuddled as well.
Yeah, from the first look, I would say that was not a yellow. It's two shoulders, and one person loses their footing. And there's nothing egregious about this, nothing dirty about it. I'm not totally sure if that warrants a yellow, but you know, you've got the whole coaching staff on their feet here, not happy about it.
Akeem O'Connor Ward picks up his 4th yellow card of the season. Kavita will control on the back line for Birmingham. That just looked like a normal soccer play to me. I'm a little surprised there was even a whistle. Brano at the penalty arc, tries to strike. Nice save once again. Brano trying to recover. O'Connor Ward. Maldonado. Brano couldn't control the first touch, has to save it from going out of play. Mikey Maldonado gives it up here to Crognale. Switch to the pitch, Tainer. Tainer with a long ball. Punch down.
Player of the game easily, Kalele, for keeping Birmingham in this one time after time. Some saves simply being the right place at the right time. Others really next level stuff for him. But great stuff all the way around. When you look at, again, San Antonio FC, I'm going to talk about it. The first touch is always in the right spot. They stay composed under pressure. All of these really tight spots that Birmingham is doing well to get to and to create, but they just cannot contain them.
Foul against Birmingham. No yellow card issued here, but certainly an explanation given to Jagarthan, and SAFC will have Emil Cuello with a quick touch here, as it was kind of a soft foul.
Yeah, looking back on it, and I almost disagree because it's from behind. You've got some boots in the middle there connecting with ankles, and if you're going to call the yellow on O'Connor Ward, it just felt like it was a similar foul, both after the play.
Yeah, in fact, I want to say that I heard someone saying that that was a yellow based off of the previous yellow given to Akeem O'Connor Ward. The fans very engaged here at Toyota Field. Very smart soccer fans out here in San Antonio.
Absolutely, and all I think people want is for things to be the same on both sides. You know, he wasn't calling some of these fouls in the first half, and now he's starting to call them in the second, which again is okay if you're calling it both ways.
Hey, Diogo Pacheco coming in for his 3rd match of the season for SAFC, as he'll come in for Mitri Yeofev. Diogo Pacheco had 4 goals on 30 shots in 27 matches with FC Tulsa in 2024. Spent 2 seasons in the MLS Next Pro with Minnesota United, 2-time first team All-MAC honors at Akron. comes on, and a big chance here to try and change the game in this scoreless draw in the 79th minute.
Another creative mind up top for San Antonio has battled injury early on in season. I think something lagging from the previous, and then just took a little bit of time to get back, but definitely at full potential here now.
Wide open left side of the field for Cuello. Hernandez hits his own teammate on a intended to be longer pass. Diarbian knocked away from him, but he recovers. Antwi. Mikkel Hatton has options. Decides to go with Seth Antwi.
Mikkel Hatton, really great communicator there in the middle of the field. You can feel it just watching the communication and the organization happening around him.
Kavita looking to find a runner, and a little long on a powerful pass, overshooting Pasher. Throw in for SAFC. Cuello, one touch here to Hernandez, and he just resets the spacing out to Akeem O'Connor-Ward, who has plenty of space on the right side. Could be a counter opportunity here for SAFC as he takes it full stride across midfield. Pacheco with a cross. Headed out, but right to Hernandez.
Again, San Antonio doing well just to earn the second ball.
Cuello with the slide tackle that ends up into touch. A throw for Birmingham.
Clean tackle at that. But, you know, with what you're seeing here between the stats, the first touch from San Antonio FC, the creative developments, winning the second ball, they're doing everything right. It's just that final finish in the attacking third. And it's not from a lack of goal scorers by any means.
Much different pace here in the second half. It's been about even both sides. Akeem O'Connor-Ward finds Pacheco on a run. Pacheco can't chase it down, but he does get a touch on it to send it into the stands and try and salvage the play. And that effort looks like an indecision, and it was last touched by Birmingham. They don't seem to agree, but it'll be a corner kick for SAFC. So Pacheco doesn't quit on the play, and they're awarded with a corner.
Have one more look at it here at this angle. I think helps quite a bit better, and yeah, it comes right off of Birmingham. I'm loving the commitment to saying, nope, it wasn't me though. It was clearly off Birmingham.
They have been very good about any potential call that could go their way, body language the other way. They got a handball that way earlier against Mitch Tainer that was clearly not a handball on the replay.
It's definitely part of the game, and I respect it.
Jorge Hernandez has this corner kick for SAFC off of Pacheco's effort. There's a crowd at the penalty mark for Jorge to aim towards. Off the foot of Sorto, deflected by the defenders, and rolls out here for Jorge Hernandez to collect. Nice move, cross. Pacheco, one more. Towards the end, oh, just misses the goal. Cross the end line. Oh my goodness. One of the craftier moves you'll see.
Absolutely lucky. We know Pirano is 100% amazing on the 1v1. It's like that ball is glued to his foot, a magnet, the way he takes on the whole team, slaloming through. And it's the keeper, Kalelet, who closes down the angle. As you can see, he's pretty pumped just doing that. Really lucky that ball didn't get by him, though. But you've got to give Kalelet a pat on the back just for doing everything he could have in that moment. Pirano really wants that goal. As he comes back with the hustle and the high press.
Maldonado chases it down. Akeem O'Connor-Ward. Mitch Tanner gets it across midfield here. Perano. Cuello. Kim O'Connor Ward gets it back on a one-touch. Jorge Hernandez. Switch the pitch. Cuello. Into the penalty area. Sorto. Tries a cross and misses its intended target. That was half a stride away from being a goal from Perano.
Again, the timing of the run is just not quite there when it gets to that point of being within the 5, but very clear corner kick opportunity. Again, San Antonio doing a great job getting into the end line, into the 5. But it's Birmingham, it's Mikkel Hatton there who's able to just beat the offense to keep this one out of the net.
Corner kick here. Jorge Hernandez sends it high, looking for a back post off the head of Cronali and just misses the angle. Opens up a substitution window. Sebastian Salcedo usually wears number 23. He's rocking number 7 tonight. And one more look at the corner kick. Just off the head of Cronali and misses the angle.
Really close, but no cigar. And I've said it about 5 million times. San Antonio, they can score from anywhere. And we've seen it. We've seen them put it on frame, put it near frame. But it's got to go in the net.
Next home game here at Toyota Field, May 2nd against Colorado Springs FC. 7:30 kickoff. It'll be a beautiful night here. For tickets, go to sanantoniofc.com. And SAFC hopes to wrap up tonight with at least 2 points off of the shootout. As the Toyota next game, can't wait for that one against Colorado Springs.
Always a tough matchup. I think, you know, when you look at teams like FC Tulsa, El Paso Locomotive, and Colorado Springs Switchbacks, those are always a thorn in the side for San Antonio. I'll throw OCSC, Orange County, in there as well because, you know, it's always a chippy match. It almost feels like a rivalry. It's just a bunch of teams that have been around for a while.
Mikkel Hatton deciding to go to the left side of the pitch. Opportunity for some runs here. Over to the right side. Jagarthan couldn't come down with it. Says my bad as he raises his hand for the SAFC throw.
Too bad. It's one of the better developments there for Birmingham. And again, just another change maker in Sebastian Salcedo. Has such a high pedigree of soccer, having played U.S. men's national team 18, 20, and 23 for the Mexican U.S. national team as well, U20s. I mean, all over the place. La Liga Mexico, MLS.
I'm glad that your roster also has him as number 23. He wears number 7 in these jerseys, I suppose. Looking at your notes.
It sounds like someone forgot their jersey.
Yeah, that's a technical foul in basketball.
Really?
Yeah, if your number doesn't match what's in the book, official scorer's book, you have to let them know ahead of time if you're wearing a different number.
Lucky.
Which we were given heads up that he was wearing 7 tonight.
Yeah. 7's a good number, man. Lucky 7.
Sorto with a lucky 99. Maldonado. Perano. Nice touch passing there by SAFC, but they retreat all the way back out to Mitch Tanner, who has plenty of time to do something with it. Chips it, Sorto is onside, looking for a shot. It's deflected, and then flag does eventually come up. Offside against SAFC.
There was quite a bit of separation there from the defender, so I have no doubt, looking back at that, the call was right. But always hard to say when the ball is coming from so far out. Got Sorto, who's pretty fast as well. I'm going to trust and defer to the linesman on that one.
Well, that was the second time that our head referee had to make the call himself, and the flag stayed down. which is very interesting. That is what it is. And the through ball intended for Ngoma does not quite find his feet. Cuello cuts back. Switches the pitch. Akeem O'Connor-Ward. Sorta couldn't quite come down to that one as it was a foot or two above his head. Early indications are that we're going to have about 2 minutes of stoppage time. Neither team with a breakthrough goal. Shots for SAFC, 23 shots on target, 6. Only 5 shots and 1 on target for Birmingham. Seeing if they can change that luck right here. Mikkel Hatton. One touch over to the left side.
I feel like I blinked and we're almost already at 90 minutes. How did that happen? I think it's just been really great soccer here in the second half. So many close calls. And remember, if this ends up as a tie, someone's going to walk away with an extra point after the PKs.
Christian Pirano. We'll have to wait for Jorge Hernandez's advantage is played to. Akeem O'Connor-Ward, plenty of space. Nice touch here to Diego Pacheco. Pacheco cuts back. Good defense there as Amir Daly cuts out the threat from the box.
A lot of slide tackling out here today.
Yeah, struggle for the ball. Will end up in a long send across the end line. Maldonado wanted to make sure he got in on the fun. We're officially in stoppage time. 2 minutes have added. And by the time this kick gets off, we'll only have about 1 left. If you're Birmingham, you have to feel very happy that you got to penalty kicks.
Yeah, I mean, they can be happy with this second half. Lucky that they walked away unscathed in the first half. Good to see Amir Daly pop up over there. It was a bit of a collision. He was slow to get up. But having Mikey Maldonado in the mix here for San Antonio also has the ability to change things. He and Jorge Hernandez work really well in the middle of the park. They've been starting most matches. You know, it's always an unexpected lineup in these in-season tournament games. Good opportunities to try different things as it doesn't affect regular season.
Offside flag is up, and perhaps the last chance for SAFC to really create something here with a free kick. Crognali telling his teammates to hurry up and let's get this thing rolling. Cuello.
Last thing you want to do is go to PKs when you've had this dominating of a performance.
Dominating a performance in every stat except for the one that matters. Goal scored. Final 3 whistles should be blown any second, and there it is. And that'll be full time. We're scoreless, and we're heading to PKs. Well, a competitive match here in the second half, still statistically outweighed by SAFC's efforts in terms of attempting to put it into the back of the net. Result in no score after 90 minutes played. 0-0 between SAFC and Birmingham Legion, but because it is a USL Cup game, we are going to have PKs to determine who comes away with the additional point in the standings.
Well, you know, people talk about wanting a high-scoring game, and hey, this is one way to do it, going to PKs. You know, lots of griping about, oh, you know, soccer is not a high-scoring game. It should be more like basketball, where they're scoring constantly, make the field smaller. Well, PKs are one way to do it, and, you know, when you look at keepers like Kulelet, he's been tested all game long. He is on fire. I have no doubt about how well he's going to do here in this lineup. Then you've got Richard Sanchez, tested a bit in the second half, but I don't think just quite as much.
So for those of you that weren't familiar, this is not a USL Championship game. It is a USL Cup game, which also includes teams from the lower USL 1. So the Prinx Tires USL Cup summary, there's 7 groups. This is Group 3 play. We'll play 4 group matches. This is Group 3, match 1 for SAFC. And the winners and the wild card, which is the second place team that has the most points, will advance to the knockout stages, which will begin in August. But the regulation, if someone came away with a win, 3 points usually. Both of these teams do get 1 point. However, whoever wins these PKs will get the additional point, so they'll have 2 points at the end of the night. So, Katie, I suppose the efforts for Birmingham Legion, they're playing with house money right now, and they have less pressure on them. SAFC, who had 23 strikes go towards the frame to be counted as a shot, 6 on target, none of them finding for a goal. They really want to come away with that extra point.
Yeah, lucky to get through that first half, but I think they really showed up in the second half. And I've mentioned it time and time again, San Antonio FC really great between the 18s. I think they're going to have to get more clinical in the attack moving forward and run of play, because you just can't let these teams hang around. They've got quite a few ties so far on the season. I mean, you're looking at a tie with FC Tulsa and Monterey Bay. There was a tie. Miami, a tie. A lot of those games they could have put away, but lesson learned, and things will, I think, work out for them as time goes on. And when you look at the teams that San Antonio has up on the docket in the USL Cup, they've got one Knox SC, Chattanooga Red Wolves, both teams who are part of the USL 1 league, and then you've got FC Tulsa, the biggest thorn in their side, probably played them 3 times last season, and then a 4th when they got to the playoff window. And the disadvantage of that is you just know too much about each other, and then it ends up becoming a stalemate match most of the time, whereas when you look at a lot of other places, there's so many teams that you can play. I don't remember what group it is, but in the Northeast, there's like 10 teams around New York and Connecticut to choose from in that area. And then you also look at this group here, Group 7, it's so spread out. So that's a lot of traveling between Knoxville and Birmingham and Oklahoma. Texas alone is probably its own category, but just not enough Texas teams, unfortunately.
Drive 3 hours in any direction from San Antonio and you're still in Texas.
Exactly.
So the coin toss you saw there, we didn't quite catch who won. However, Katie, if you're the captain for SAFC and you win the coin toss, what's your decision on these?
I say we go first, right? We're the first to score, give your keeper a break. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everyone has a different thought process. Maybe keeper wants to get it out of the way.
So it'll be Birmingham who will get the first attempt. Tyler Pasher, who scored the opening goal against Indy 11, volunteering to see if he can put a little bit of pressure on Richard Sanchez.
Putting the strongest men first. And what a tough game for Richard Sanchez to walk into. And, pretty easy first half. Things picked up in the second there. And now he's really under a test in this PK shootout.
First PK shootout for either team, as this is the opening game of USL Cup play.
I believe that goal against Pittsburgh, the PK he had, went to the right side of the net. Let's see if he does that again.
Pasher cannot send it through. It goes a little wide, right? Did I see that correct? And looks like Richard Sanchez did time it right.
No, that one did slot by him. Sanchez guessed the direction. But as we're seeing it here, does great guessing that direction. But yeah, sneaks it right by. Probably did his homework.
You called it to the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the last PK he had, went to the right. But don't ask me about the rest.
Very close on that one. Now it's time for Mitch Tainer. Glaylat's been on top of his head all match long. Tasked to do it for 5 more strikes. And that one is a goal for Mitch Tainer. Evens us up at a strike apiece.
Great work there from Tainer, making it look easy.
That was very casual.
Very casual. You know, he's got a lot of power. I think used to taking those power shots. He knows he can't wind up too much. You can see there he opens up his hips a little bit too. Really surprised that Kalela wasn't able to read that and at least make an effort to get to the right side, but also was kind of a last minute opening of the hips. When you talk to goalkeepers of how did you know to guess this way or that way, they're looking at your hips, they're looking at the way you're planting your feet, they're not looking at your eyes or what you're thinking. They just pure body language here, and it's a psychology and an art, and would not want to be in this position.
Sebastian Salcedo, his turn for Birmingham. Second PK for the Legion. That one goes off the post.
San Antonio's crowd goes crazy.
And some high fives for the kids from Richard Sanchez.
Yeah, Angel on the goalpost on that one. But again, Sanchez doing a great job to guess which way. Had that been maybe an inch inside, don't know that he would have gotten to it, but really close call either way.
The Argentine Cuello comes in, trying to give SAFC the lead in PKs here in round 2 of kicks. Looking for that extra point after the draw result. Cuello with a hesitation, finds the back of the net.
Absolute artwork there from Cuello. Doing well to pause the run, commits the keep, and it's just a half second of a hesitation. Does well in positioning his body, able to open his hips up at the last minute. And again, you don't need a ton of power just to get it by. And it really feels unfortunate for Kalela because he had such an amazing game and run of play.
He will still get the clean sheet. That's the positive, right?
Positive, yep.
Yeah.
And hopefully a mention on Save of the Week because he had quite a few solid saves.
Tregarthen now trying his hand at it, or his foot at it, I should say. And he misses. He skies that one over the crossbar. Back-to-back misses from Birmingham. Has SAFC in the driver's seat.
You just talked about power and not having to put too much behind it. The chest is up. You can see he steps over. He's trying to overcorrect. Sends that ball not only up but wide as well. I think even if it had been low enough, it would not have hit the back of the neck. And when you talk about wanting to come out to San Antonio FC and be a season ticket holding member and, you know, have some contribution to the game, that's it right there. You know they're pretty stir crazy behind the back of the net right now. And all of that matters in these moments.
Thiago Suarez told to replace it on the penalty mark. If you win the coin toss, maybe you decide which side of the field you're on. Suarez has it deflected and then off the post, and a little bit of gamesmanship there from Jassim Kalela as he points to the fans.
And again, earning his keep here, literally. Kalela doing such an incredible job just to get there. He guesses the right direction. It's the feet being planted. He lays out completely. Has had one heck of a game there. He's the only keeper who has really denied a goal. The goals missed so far have been shanked or off, you know, off the post. So good work for him, at least coming in and doing his part.
Romario Williams with a goal on the season. Trying to tie us up at 2 in the PK shootout. Blocked by Sanchez, and then he has to recover to keep it from going across on the ricochet.
All right. You know, let me put my foot in my mouth because just as I said that about Kalela, Richard Sanchez, he comes in and does the same thing. Even better is getting up to catch it from going in. Again, could be a Save of the Week nomination, just not giving up on the initial save. Great work there from Richard Sanchez.
The ace, Jorge Hernandez, 3 goals on the season. He can win it here for SAFC. Hernandez giving the okay.
Some mind games with the hesitation.
Slow steps. Jorge Hernandez finds the top corner. SAFC comes away with the extra point.
The eye of the tiger there from Jorge Hernandez. The slow creep up to the ball. The pause to begin with. Kalela doing well to guess the right direction, but you're not going to get it in the top bins there. Beautiful 90. It's like he knew it was going to happen all along with that finish. And so the win here, the 2 points goes to San Antonio, and it kind of feels justified for when you look at the stats and the dominance that happened in run of play. But Birmingham so close, doing so well just to hang in and hang around. But hey, I'll take an interesting game any day, something that gets me out of my seat.
Both teams come away with a result, but San Antonio FC comes away with the extra point by winning the PK shootout. And that's a way to open the Prinx Tires USL Cup. You see a lot of sportsmanship in this hard-fought battle between the two teams. We took it to full time with no goals scored, and SAFC wins the PK shootout 3-1. Don't even need that final round of shots to determine the winner in the PK shootout. And Richard Sanchez certainly did his part in the PK shootout, but we got to give Jassim Kolelat a lot of credit for keeping this a draw as he stood on his head and made several amazing saves to keep SAFC off of the scoreboard.
When we're talking in run of play, Kolelat easily player of the game, earned his keep, did a great job just reading everything in run of play and even making a save in PKs. But, you know, Richard Sanchez, when you're talking about which save is the best in PKs, I'm going to give that to Richard Sanchez just for not only the denial, but the recovery.
Well, not quite 3 points, but SAFC will take 2. Here's a look at how all of it shook out as SAFC had several opportunities, but we were tied 0-0 at the end of full time, and SAFC takes it in PKs. 3-1 over the Birmingham Legion. So for Katie Goodman and the rest of the crew, I've been Carl Schoening saying so long from Toyota Field, where SAFC opens up USL Cup play with 2 points. And Birmingham Legion takes away 1. Everyone have a good rest of your weekend. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
And the CEO spot makes him feel like he gets the most bang for his buck. Nice ball in there from Ward.
Yeah, that chip in easily caught, though, by Colayet.
And I'm sure being in the coach spot and the CEO spot makes him feel like he gets the most bang for his buck.